What's up, ladies and gents? This is KC Kid, coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we're taking a look at my top 5 favorite exotic weapons. That's right, these are the weapons that I enjoy using in the Taken King the most. I have the most fun with them. They may not be the best, or they might be the best, I don't know. But that's not what the order is. The order is not the top 5 best weapons, it's the top 5 weapons that I have the most fun with in the Taken King. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let me know, what are the exotic weapons that you like the best? What are your absolute favorites? What are you the biggest killing machine with whenever you're using them? Because they're a lot of fun, you only get to choose one exotic weapon at a time, and that alone in itself is pretty tricky. But let's go ahead and get things started. We are counting down from number 5. At number 5 we have the Touch of Malice. Now this gun looks amazing. On its aesthetics alone, it's a top 5 weapon, just on that. It's an amazing looking gun. Its quest is pretty involved and intricate, involving collecting 45 calcified fragments and doing a whole bunch of little quests for Eris. So this gun is pretty sweet. As far as its perks, whenever you look at it just on its own, its base stats, you're like, oh man, 11 bullets. But that's not really the case, because that final bullet that you have regenerates. So you have infinite ammo on that final bullet with increased damage. The only drawback is that it costs your health whenever you're shooting it out. So your final perk of the gun gives you the ability to potentially regain health whenever you kill multiple enemies at once. But if you're in the raid, there are also a number of times in battle on Oryx and the Sisters where you get an invincibility aura. And when that's around, you can just fire off that final shot for the increased damage and you'll never lose your health. Another strategy is people using Defender Titans with Blessing of Light and popping back and forth inside the bubble for the Blessing of Light overshield and then shooting off that final bullet a lot. And that means you can deal big time damage and never take damage to your health. So Touch of Malice, awesome gun. At number 4 we kind of have a conglomeration of 3 weapons, and it is the exotic swords. Raise Lighter is probably my favorite one, though in all fairness I do not have the Arc Sword yet. I'm very close. I think I have 2 more rare materials to gather on Earth, and then I can go ahead and collect all that, do the final stage of the quest, and be done with it. But Raise Lighter is pretty awesome. I don't use both of the bottom perks. I do use Scabbard on one for extra heavy ammo, though that second perk to regain some extra super energy on kills, that's not too bad at all. That's a pretty good perk. I might have to just put it on at some point and see how low my heavy ammo actually goes. Of course, we also have the Dark Drinker, and its second special perk is that you gain grenade energy on kills. So again, that can make you into a grenade throwing machine. Pretty cool. This doesn't have the power of one-hitting an enemy like the Raise Lighter does, but it does mob enemies way better. Now, I use the exotic swords mainly whenever I am on the flare strike, because killing these flares with exotic swords is fantastic. Whenever these were the Nightfall enemy, as you see in this clip, it was swords all day, every day. Just absolutely melt them. You can see we actually have the Raise Lighter and Dark Drinker in action on that baddie, and he didn't stand much of a chance at all. Again, these weapons are incredible for dealing out damage in close range. The Raise Lighter with its Phoenix Uppercut absolutely melts through enemies. It's a lot of fun to use whenever you want to go ahead and sword some things. At number 3 we have the Black Spindle. And Black Spindle is my preferred choice for weapons in the first 2 parts of the King's Fall raid. Mainly because of its White Nail perk. This is what makes the gun. This is what made the Black Hammer in the last generation and the Black Spindle in this one. Basically, you never have to reload if you're hitting critical hit shots. As long as you have reserve ammo, because that's a new thing. After you use up your 3 bullets that are all critical hits, it'll pull from your reserve ammo until you're out of ammo. Now, the White Nail is pretty much what makes the Black Spindle, and it is an incredible powerhouse for dealing out DPS on enemies, such as the War Priest and Golgoroth. This is the gun that you want to be using on these 2 fights of the raid. There's really nothing else that even comes remotely close to dealing out the damage this can, especially whenever you're doing the Golgoroth 1 orb strategy. Black Spindle by far is your best choice. You sit here for days and shoot, except for you only have like 10 or so seconds. So that's why it's so good, because you never have to worry about reloading. You hit all those shots in his chest, and you run away after dealing massive damage to Golgoroth. Black Spindle is a lot of fun. At number 2, we have the Swain Supercell, and that's probably no surprise to anyone at all. I love this gun. Probably the best mobbing gun there is in the game. Unfortunately, I still don't have one that is 310 yet. I think I had 2 or 3 that have dropped at 290 and I've deleted those. But I still have this one. It's over 300. I need to get this thing leveled up. It's amazing. I actually did a review of the Swain Supercell before, and I'll link that here. I really enjoy the chain lightning on it, and the fact that whenever you get multi-kills with this weapon, you don't have to reload because you regain your ammo, and that is always useful, always useful. If there's an arc burn and a nightfall, this has to be your gun of choice in your primary slot. This gun is incredible. You will not be disappointed whenever you have it. There is no better PvE mobbing weapon. Not even the Fatebringer came close to what the Swain Supercell can do. I know that's a pretty lofty comparison because all of us really enjoyed using our Fatebringer in Year 1, but Swain is simply better at clearing out enemies than Fatebringer because you're basically never having to reload if there are tiny little mobbing enemies that you can kill. Really, really amazing. The one thing Fatebringer did have on this was that it was legendary, and this is an exotic, so you can't use anything else, but still. I was even using the Zalo in just this past Nightfall, and it wasn't even an arc burn, because I really enjoy this gun. It's pretty stable, you can get off a lot of shots and deal a lot of damage. Now, before we get to number 1, I want to do some honorable mentions. These guns were so close. The Bad Juju was actually the first new gun that I bought with legendary marks from the Taken King. It's incredible. Again, you never have to reload if you're mobbing enemies, and you get a damage increase, and you gain extra super energy. This gun is incredible. Oh, and did I mention that aside from being a pulse rifle, which is incredible and strong, it has full auto? This gun is everything that I like. I just don't use it as much because whenever I'm using a primary in this slot, it's probably the Zalo. Also, the next gun is the Sleeper Simulant. This gun was probably one of the most hyped guns coming into the Taken King, and we all have it now. We kind of thought that this was going to be an intricate quest that we had to do, and for one day, I guess it was, but then everybody got it and felt a little bit let down. The gun is still pretty good. It's not Gjallarhorn version 2, it's just not, but it deals out a ton of damage thanks to all of its impact. Unfortunately, all of its perks are kind of just butts. None of these perks make this gun good. What makes this gun good is the amount of damage that it does out, and I wonder if Bungie is ever going to tweak this gun again. But those were my 2 honorable mentions, and for number 1, my absolute favorite exotic weapon in the Taken King is the Telesto. I love this gun. There is no gun that I have more fun using. This gun is almost custom made for Night Stalker hunters because it's just incredible synergy with them plus their tether. Now, what's really different about this gun and other fusion rifles is that you actually don't deal damage with your fusion rifle bolts. I mean, you deal a little bit of damage, but all the damage comes off of you sticking them with little mini grenades that explode then later, and that's where all the big damage comes from with the Telesto. That, plus the fact that you can generate orbs for your teammates if you multi-kill enemies, which really isn't that difficult to do with this gun. And this gun is amazing. You're going to feel like an orb generating machine, especially if you're a Night Stalker hunter. If you happen to have a Nightfall that has Void or Specialist on, this should be your gun of choice. It's incredible. It shoots out really fast. Again, you don't care so much about the impact or range because none of those things actually matters. All that matters is the explosion. And here we are in the Court of Orcs. These enemies are dropping down. I fire down a tether and I shoot off one shot and I shoot one final shot and every enemy is dead. Orbs are raining for days. That's it. 2 shots from that gun and it cleared out all of those enemies in the Court of Orcs. Really good. Again, I have so much fun with this gun, just hopping around, jumping in the air, throwing down little landmine traps on the ground, jumping away, hearing enemies explode and get killed. This is the Sunless Cell Strike at the end, and just some of the fun things that you could actually do with that. Whenever I end up sticking them, you can see there are orbs generating all over the place. The Telesto is definitely my favorite gun to use in the game. It looks amazing, it feels amazing, it's extremely strong, even for a fusion rifle. So what are your top 5 favorite exotic weapons in the Taken King? What do you like using? How do you feel about this list? Telesto was a little bit of a surprise at number 1, I'm sure. I'm sure you weren't expecting that. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smack that like button. Subscribe to the channel to keep updated on daily Destiny content. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, the Taken King, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Oh, Telesto.